The Arctic is not just a barren expanse of snow and ice. It is becoming the epicenter of global geopolitical competition. Nations are increasingly focusing on the Arctic, and at the heart of this struggle is Greenland. This vast frozen island may seem insignificant to most, but its strategic importance cannot be overstated. Greenland lies in the Arctic, where melting ice is opening up new shipping routes and resource deposits. Nations are jockeying for control, and the United States, long the dominant power in the region, is facing rising competition, particularly from China. But what happens when China steps into the Arctic, armed with billions in investment and a strategic vision for the future? And why did US President Donald Trump propose purchasing Greenland, and how did the Danish and Greenlandic governments react to this audacious request? Let's dive into the heart of this icy geopolitical struggle, where China's investments are quietly shifting the balance of power in the Arctic, challenging the United States and reshaping global dynamics in the process. Greenland, the world's largest island, occupies a crucial position between North America and Europe, making it not only a key strategic military location, but also an essential player in the global economy. It lies in the heart of the Arctic, where changing climate patterns are opening up new sea lanes. The melting of the Arctic ice creates fresh opportunities for trade routes that drastically shorten shipping times between Asia, Europe, and North America. With the rise of new shipping lanes, the geopolitical importance of Greenland has grown exponentially. The island's rich natural resources are another reason Greenland is becoming a focal point of international interest. Greenland holds vast deposits of rare earth elements, uranium, and other critical minerals that are essential for modern technological developments, such as electronics, renewable energy, and military-grade technologies. These resources are crucial to the economic ambitions of both China and the United States. Greenland also holds strategic military value. Its location is perfect for monitoring and controlling Arctic trade routes, providing early warning systems for missile defense and serving as a potential base for military operations in the region. In recent years, Denmark has made moves to increase its military spending in response to the growing geopolitical tensions in the Arctic region. Denmark feels compelled to bolster its defense capabilities to safeguard Greenland and its own sovereignty. Denmark's decision to increase its military budget was not just a reflection of its concerns, but also a signal to other global powers, particularly the United States, that Greenland is under its protection. The EU, for its part, has voiced concerns over the rising tensions and the militarization of the Arctic. Statements from EU officials have criticized the US for its aggressive stance, especially with regards to its desire to secure control over Greenland. The European Union has advocated for a more collaborative approach in the Arctic, where global powers work together to manage the region's resources and shipping lanes. However, with the US influence, the EU's calls for cooperation have largely fallen on deaf ears. Denmark's military budget increase also reflects a shift in European attitudes, as tensions between the US and Denmark, along with other EU nations, have begun to take a more active role in ensuring that its interests in Greenland are not sidelined in the broader global power struggle. President Donald Trump's proposal to purchase Greenland from Denmark was met with shock and disbelief. The audacity of such a request was staggering, but it was rooted in the strategic interests that Greenland held for the United States. Its resources are vital to the US's economic and military future. The US government had long viewed Greenland as an essential part of its Arctic defense architecture. The idea of purchasing Greenland was not just about acquiring a piece of land, but about securing a strategic foothold in the region that could give the US an edge over its competitors. Trump's suggestion to buy Greenland was framed as a way to make a deal in typical Trump fashion, but the offer was immediately met with strong opposition from both Denmark and Greenland. Denmark, which governs Greenland as a self-governing territory, made it clear that Greenland was not for sale. Greenland's local government echoed this sentiment, emphasizing its desire to maintain its autonomy. The proposal, however, underscored the intense importance the US placed on Greenland's military and economic significance. The rejection of Trump's offer to purchase Greenland was swift and resounding. Denmark, which governs Greenland as a dependent territory, strongly objected to the idea. The Danish Prime Minister, Mette Frederiksen, famously called the proposal absurd and reiterated that Greenland was not for sale. For Greenland, the issue was not just about money, it was about sovereignty. Greenland's government, which has gained more autonomy in recent years, was determined to assert its control over its land and resources. The reaction from the Greenlandic government was also shaped by historical concerns. Greenland has long struggled with issues of colonialism and has sought to maintain its independence from foreign influence. The idea of a US purchase was seen as an encroachment on Greenland's hard-won autonomy, and the local government was not prepared to give up control, especially when it came to such a highly contested piece of real estate. Denmark's rejection was not just a political decision, it was a message to the United States. States that Greenland's future would be determined by its own people, not by foreign powers seeking to impose their will. The US has long maintained a military presence in Greenland, and the Thule Air Base is the centerpiece of this strategic positioning. Located at the northern tip of Greenland, Thule Air Base is one of the US's most important military installations, providing crucial capabilities in missile defense and monitoring Arctic airspace. Thule has been a key part of the US military strategy since the Cold War, serving as a base for the US Air Force's strategic operations and as an early warning site for potential missile launches. The US has been vocal about the need to maintain a military presence in Greenland. The loss of influence in the region would undermine the US's broader defense strategy, especially as Russia continues to militarize the Arctic and China seeks to expand its economic and strategic footprint. With the growing presence of Chinese investments and the expansion of Russia's military infrastructure in the region, the US has become increasingly focused on Greenland as a linchpin in its Arctic defense posture. China's strategy in the Arctic is driven by a mix of resource extraction, infrastructure development, and geopolitical positioning. Unlike the US, which has focused on military dominance, China has chosen to assert its influence through economic investments. Beginning in the early 2000s, Chinese companies began to eye Greenland's vast natural resources. With its rich deposits of rare earth elements, uranium and iron ore, Greenland has become an essential target for China's growing economic and technological ambitions. In 2015, China made its first major move into Greenland by investing in the ISA iron ore project. This project marked China's first major foray into Greenland's resource extraction sector. The investment was made by the Hong Kong-based General NIS Development Group, a subsidiary of the General NIS Group, which has a history of operating in the mining sector. Despite the logistical and environmental challenges that the project faced, it demonstrated China's long-term interest in Greenland's resources. Following this, China's investment in Greenland deepened further in 2016. China's state-owned Shanghai Resources acquired a 12.5% stake in Greenland Minerals, which controls the Kavner Field Rare Earth and Uranium project. This project is one of the world's largest deposits of rare earth elements and uranium, materials that are essential for China's technological development. These resources are vital for the production of electronics and renewable energy technologies. China's investments in Greenland also extend beyond mining. The country has shown a keen interest in developing Greenland's infrastructure, including port facilities and transportation networks. These projects aim to support the extraction and transportation of resources from Greenland to global markets, creating a strategic foothold for China in the region. Through these investments, China is not only securing access to Greenland's resources, but also laying the groundwork to influence global trade routes. As the Arctic becomes more accessible due to climate change, new shipping routes are opening up. Greenland's strategic position, sitting between North America and Europe, makes it an ideal location for controlling these routes. By investing in infrastructure and resource extraction, China is positioning itself as a key player in controlling the Arctic's future trade flows. China's focus on Greenland is not merely about resource extraction, it is also about securing access to new shipping lanes and asserting its geopolitical power in the Arctic. As climate change opens up new trade routes, China views Greenland as a crucial location to exert influence over these emerging paths. The Arctic's new shipping lanes promise to shorten shipping times between Asia, Europe, and North America, making them strategically important for global trade. With its vast mineral deposits and key position along these new routes, Greenland is at the center of China's Arctic strategy.